All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Lethal Library. I'm Stephanie,
And I'm Dani.
and we are here to tell you another true crime tale straight out of Idaho. But first, just some updates for you guys. One, apologies that this episode is out a bit late. We had some sound issues, so we had a part we have to re-record this part. So thanks for your patience on that. So we'll be releasing this tonight. And then after this, we are going to take about a 3-week hiatus. We've got some end of summer plans and just kind of trying to finish the summer out strong. We hope that you are having an amazing summer as well. So we will be back. Our next episode will be September 15th on a Monday. So keep an eye out. We might release some TikToks and stuff in the meantime, but we will see you on the other side. So without further ado, Dani, what are we in store for today?
Boise, Idaho, summer of '87. While the city's foothills were going up in flames, police got a 911 call about a bloody brawl on West Linden Street. Dispatch's response? We're busy.
Yeah.
By the time anyone decided maybe a bloody street fight was worth looking into, it was 8 in the morning.
Yikes.
When the police finally showed up, they followed a bloody trail right to the porch of Daniel and Catherine Rodgers. The couple swore they knew nothing, but the police weren't buying it.
I bet.
And that was before body parts started floating down the Snake River.
Oh my gosh, another one of those.
These fishermen.
That has been how so many people have been found. These fishermen are going into these remote areas looking for that great fishing hole, and for some reason, that's where the body parts like to gather too.
This is the story of Preston Murr, a young man who got caught in the crosshairs of a grudge over stolen drugs and cash, and of the convicted murderer and his sidekick. It's a tale of botched dispatch calls, dismembered remains, and a killer who somehow became a foster dad before going back to prison for life.
Wow, that's a crazy one. How do we get there? How do we get there?
I just wanted to tell you that I did all of this research, and then I'm a newspaper galley. I'm reading articles straight out of the newspaper. But at the end of my research, I always go just hit the www and just see if there's anything out there.
Yeah.
This is the story of the Chop Chop House.
Oh my gosh. And I know we've had people request this. I remember someone specifically requested this. So if you're listening, here you go. But that's exciting. I feel like you're gonna have fresh perspective on it.
I hope so.
I think you'll do just fine.
Sources used today are articles from the Idaho Statesman
Love you.
and findlaw.com.
Nice. Okay.
Ready to get into some Chop Chop House?
Let's go.
On June 30th, around 12:30 in the morning, Boise police dispatchers received a 911 call about a fight between two people at Leadville Avenue and West Linden Street. The caller, Clinton Sparks, reported seeing blood and that there was something still going on across the street from his house. He's like, I'm not going out there, but I'm letting you know. There's some shit going down.
Yeah. Danger, danger.
40 minutes after that 911 call was made, a police officer was finally dispatched, but declined the call.
Ooh.
The Boise foothills were on fire that night, and the officer was working the fire. It was one of the largest in history at that time. So the police were up there blocking streets off and doing
Maybe
things.
escorting people.
Right. So he's just like, no, you need to call somebody else. I cannot get away. I'm in the thick of it.
Understandable.
In the thick of
And
it.
just so you guys know, the foothills area is like butted up against Boise. And there are houses there, and it's very close. Like, it's dry, it's high desert. This is something where when it catches it,
You're having
fast.
tall grass and sagebrush, and it is a burning bitch.
Yes. And so it can move very fast. It's very dangerous to the firefighters and everyone working. So it's serious when the foothills are aflame.
Yes. And a lot of it, well, we've had some bad fireworks ones because let's go to the desert and light some fireworks. But a lot of it is lightning caused up there. But you still have idiots. So when that officer declined the call, the dispatchers didn't send another officer to take his place.
Whoopsie.
But a dutiful neighbor called again at 8 a.m.
Hello.
And police are finally dispatched to 805 West Linden Street.
Oh, man, at 8 a.m.
And this area is located off of Federal Way, close to Ivy Wild Park. So
Okay.
Bench, right?
Yeah.
Bench.
I think so. Correct us if we're wrong. I think
Please.
that's right.
Had a conversation about that today. And
What's bench, what's not bench? People are very specific about what you call their area. Like Garden City, don't you dare call that Boise. And it's nice. Like,
you should probably take Boise. Actually, it's coming up. There's also
It's
some
not
nice
bad. It is not a bad, scary area.
but there's some really nice homes along the river down there.
Incredibly nice, and it is coming up as well. So we were like, oh my gosh, Garden City is so scary. I'm like, have you been like,
It's not 8 Mile, okay?
this is Idaho, and people want to say the same thing about Nampa and Caldwell, and I'm like, really? Really?
It's still Idaho.
It is still Idaho. You need to calm down.
Calm down. When the police arrived on Linden Street, they saw blood. It was in the street, and they followed the trail. This led them up to the porch. While waiting for a warrant, the homeowners, Daniel and Catherine Rodgers, came home.
Oh.
They insisted they didn't know anything about a fight and was not home last night. Yeah, police.
We weren't home. Who was bleeding all over my porch? We do need to find them because who's done to fix all this blood?
Police weren't buying it. They're like, no. So they got their warrant and entered the home. Once inside, they found more blood splattered on the basement door and just 13 pounds of marijuana. The marijuana. Still legal in Idaho.
Could they not have gone in there before they got the warrant and tried to maybe put them somewhere?
Start flushing. You got
Yeah.
2 toilets in that house? Flush.
I've had a bad Taco Bell, so you're going to hear some flush.
Sorry.
Whoopsie. What was it, just sitting on the coffee table? What the fuck?
Authorities also located several bullet holes
Oh, no.
in walls and a gun. The pair was arrested for possession of a controlled substance with the intent to deliver. 13 pounds, bitch. Don't play.
That's not for personal use. Okay.
my habit. No, sir, you don't even understand my habit.
If you were Willie Nelson, maybe. But don't try to pull that shit.
No, I just share it with my friends.
I have glaucoma.
Authorities didn't know who the blood belonged to, but it was enough that they thought someone had died from the blood loss.
That is a concerning amount. This isn't a whoopsie, I was chopping veggies and cut a little bit of my thumb off.
No. And you have bullet holes, 13 1-pound packages. So it was wrapped up nice and tight to
And can I just
distribute.
say, you are so lucky that the original officer didn't show up at 12:30 a.m. What were y'all doing in the meantime? You had 7.5 hours to put your 13 pounds of weed somewhere else, maybe clean something up, put some pictures over the bullet holes in the wall.
This is drugs.
Because you could have even said, hey, y'all, you don't need a warrant. Just come do a quick walkthrough. No one's here. Everything's fine. But no, where the fuck were you?
Well, they were
Getting home at 8 a.m.
they were busy. I think by the time that they arrived home, it was actually more around noon.
Oh my God.
And then you're going to hear a little bit about this later in the story. But I don't think they got the warrant, if I recall, until like 2 p.m.
Yeah, it moves a lot slower then. I mean, we're working on like landline phones and shit.
Yeah.
Radio.
Got to call a judge.
Yeah.
Warrant.
And the judge doesn't have a cell phone on him right now. So
It's like I was having breakfast with the boys.
it's my golfing day.
What the fuck? So that was just a little friendly reminder. That was on June 30th.
Okay.
On July 3rd, a fisherman was out on the Snake River at Brownlee Reservoir in Washington County, about 20 miles northwest of Weiser, Idaho. He was looking for the perfect spot to throw in a line. It was 4th of July weekend.
He's enjoying. He's like, I got days off.
Let's go.
We're getting on the river, bitch.
Let's pack up. Hey, wifey, let's make a little picnic.
Honey, grab some beers, some sandwiches. Let's
get some
fucking go.
bologna. Let's go. So he was looking for that perfect spot.
Yeah.
And he spotted something odd.
Was not the perfect spot.
Not. He walked towards the object, and once upon it, he realized it was part of a human torso.
A torso. I mean, finding any body part, but I feel like that's extra shocking because there's no explaining that. Like, oh, someone had a boating accident, lost their
Can we just
hand.
emphasize?
Tell me.
It was part of a human torso.
No one wants to see that.
I know. Last week we said we're not going to get into nitty gritty details. This week, it's a huge part of the story. So, brutal.
Very brute.
The man went back to his family where his wife was preparing lunch.
Just having a great freaking 4th of July weekend.
And loaded, hey fam, get in the fucking car. Get in the fucking car. She's like, what? She's like halfway. I could just picture.
She's like, I've made a really good fucking sandwich for this whole family.
Do you not see how much time I spent on this tuna salad sandwich? I was up this morning boiling eggs.
It is your favorite and you specifically requested it and now it's fuck me. Now it's fuck me. We're getting in the car.
Can I at least clean up? Can I at least I can put it back in the
I can put it in a to-go bag.
Get in the fucking car.
Linda, we got to go.
He took his family and they headed to Weiser to find the sheriff.
What a way to ruin a great family outing. I'm just pissed at the whole circumstance of like.
And that poor family every 4th of July has to think about.
Right? Remember that one time when Dad came
found-
back and he said, get in the car and it was because there was a body? Remember that traumatizing
Dad
everyone?
found a torso out in the fucking sagebrush.
And I never got to have my
should've
tuna
not.
sandwich. This is my favorite. Poor little Johnny.
And Linda's still pissed because they were all traumatized. That tuna sandwich, thrown away. It was never utilized.
It's no longer the favorite in the fam.
No.
They went to chicken salad after this.
Kind of close.
Maybe they just went to like a nice
Turkey
cheese.
Yeah, turkey cheese Sam.
You can't fail with a turkey cheese.
The next day, Washington County Sheriff officers, along with the Boise Police Department, discovered the legs, arms, and upper torso 1 mile downstream.
That is honestly crazy that they are 20 miles right down in the river from.
They're 20 miles from Weiser, so Brownlee, it's right on the border. So, yes, you're right, they're down.
But that they found all of these parts, not everything, it doesn't sound like. Is it every part of the body that they found? Oh gosh, it's coming. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead, guys.
Slow down, Steph.
My brain's going 100 miles an hour.
On the third day, authorities found a head in some sagebrush by the river. All of the body parts were discovered with the exception of some fingers.
That is crazy.
Look, the Snake River is a brutal bitch. She has a lot of undercurrent. I think we've even talked about this before. They failed if they found the murderers, the disposal people failed if they found everything but some fingers.
Yeah.
Okay?
Because just even getting stuck in, there's so much brush that can,
And logs and
stuff that you
undercurrent.
cannot get to unless you're on
People
route.
die in that river every year.
Every year.
We have somebody die in the Snake River because it looks,
It looks calm.
It's very wide. It looks calm. There's a lot of undertows in there.
And getting stuck in those trees and stuff on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But also,
Why aren't we weighing it down or something? Come on.
why are you leaving it just in the sagebrush?
We're just tossing it?
Anyways, they suck. They're not good at their job.
Absolutely.
Thank God. But
And it took them that long. They had so much time. And it took them this long to do that. And they couldn't even clean up their house to at least hide the drugs. Because even if you cleaned up good enough where they don't know a murder happened, what about the 13 pounds of weed on the coffee table?
can we just put that away?
Fucking God.
Babe, you think you can drive that over to your mom's?
Yeah. Hey, what about our friend James? He'd hold it for us. You don't think he'd smoke too much, right? Let him have a bowl or two.
Coroner Erwin Sonnenberg said it was, quote, the most gruesome murder in my experience.
That's saying something.
The coroner did not know when the murder occurred, but is believed to have happened in Boise. They're on these fuckers.
Yeah.
They're stupid.
This is ridiculously just terrible. Did they think of anything?
No.
Like, not even the blood. There's a trail of blood leading to your house, trail of blood in your house. If you at least cleaned your house, you could say, oh, someone must have been hurt and tried knocking on our door and left. They must have just tried to been getting help. They probably went that way, officer.
We weren't home.
Yeah. Oh, whoops.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about the victim, Preston Murr. And
Let's
about
hear
his-
about Preston.
Preston Murr had attended a funeral on June 29th. Okay. I'm unsure who it was for. I could not find that.
To him.
After the services, Preston and a few others from the funeral got their drink on,
As you do.
got a little rowdy, a little out of control.
Well, cheers to our dearly departed.
A small fight broke out and the police were called up. Murr and the other two involved were cited by Boise police for disorderly conduct.
They were taking it too far.
Yeah, they're like, get your shit together, right? You're sad, you're mourning, lay off the drink.
They probably gave him a break.
He's probably fighting with his cousins. You know how that goes.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Family emotions running high.
Preston went back to his sister's house where he had recently been staying along with his girlfriend, Carla. Preston later called the police and said that someone called him and threatened to kill him.
Oh.
Preston called Daniel Rodgers to ask him if he knew who would be threatening him.
Oh.
Buddy, I'm getting calls. And he's obviously inebriated. Like
Yeah.
and maybe he's sobered up a little bit, but he came home. And I don't know the date.
Well, and this is before caller ID or anything.
No,
I have no fucking idea who's
That's when
calling
you could be a sneaky ass bitch.
There's no way to find out who is calling you.
So Daniel Rodgers was an acquaintance of his. He'd known him for a couple months.
It's like, yo, bro, I just
Do
got
you
this
know
weird
somebody
call.
to be like threatening me? And then Preston left the house.
Okay.
So that was the 29th. On July 1st, 2 days later, girlfriend Carla called Tanya, Preston's sister, where they had been staying, and told her, quote, I think your brother is dead. Oh. And Tanya was out of town visiting her husband while he was working in Klamath Falls, Oregon. And Tanya was like, well, coming
What
home.
am I supposed to do?
I'm
Yeah.
coming home right now.
Oh, how scary.
Because this is the July 1st. So she literally hasn't seen him for over a day. So she's trying not to be over dramatic.
But if there's been things that happen that would...
She's
you have that feeling you have to say something.
I don't know how long I would wait. Like, I don't want to be like the drama girlfriend, but he's not home. Okay, if he's not home by morning, I'm going to call his sister. I just imagine I would be like,
That's always
a
a
thing.
thing. Yeah.
You don't want to be over dramatic. And he's like, yo, I was just at my buddy Tony's house or something. Like, why you calling my sister saying I'm missing? You know, right? You're like, you're doing all of that. That's what,
I think we've all probably done that before. And
that's what's going on in your head when that happens.
No, I've had it with me. I'm like, if Rick, one time Rick and I misunderstood what he said, and I thought that he was going to be home, and then he didn't come home, and then he didn't answer his phone. And I was extremely worried to the point where I called where I thought that he was. And then I went to the house to be like, if he just said they're just outside, and then they weren't there. And I found out through the Ring camera, I did not understand like what he said he was doing. I thought he was at one place and he was at another. And anyway, it was resolved. But it was one of those things where you feel that in your gut and you're like, what if I don't do something?
Right.
And then it is something serious. So I'd rather go and be like a little bit of a weirdo and be like, hey, sorry to show up at your house, but you just have that feeling.
Yeah. So Carla was hanging on to it. I feel bad for her because she probably didn't want to freak out his sister. She was out of town visiting with her kids, her husband, and she doesn't want to be causing drama. So she's like, okay, today I'm causing drama.
But for her to say, I think your brother is dead.
Yeah.
She knew there had to be things that she knew about their conversations that it was enough to be like, this can't just be a fluke.
Oof. While sitting in jail on drug charges, Daniel Edward Rodgers, age 37, was arrested and charged with first-degree murder of Preston Murr. Police also charged Darren Jimmel Cox. I might not be saying that right. It's Jimel.
Good try.
Maybe it's Jimmel. Jimmel.
We're going to say Jimmel.
Okay. Cox, age 31, with first-degree murder by aiding and abetting Rodgers in Preston's murder.
Ruh-roh.
And I was unable to locate anything of note for Darren Cox, but I did for Rodgers. In previous life. In Vallejo, California, in 1977, Rodgers, 27 at the time, was convicted of second-degree murder.
No.
Yes,
I'm telling you.
Double downer.
We have got to fix this second-degree murder because there are so many cases where people just get next to fucking nothing. Tell me about this fucking second-degree murder.
The victim, George Weatherwax, age 24, was found dead on the side of the road. And I think it was kind of like a highway, freeway kind of thing. I mean, I don't know a lot about Vallejo. It was like there was a certain word that they used for it, and it's not coming to me now. But it was like an expressway.
Okay. Yeah.
So, okay. That was the word I was looking for.
Very nice. Fancy.
Dug deep. We don't have expressways here.
We don't.
We have a connector.
We barely have paved roads and running like water.
I know.
It's Idaho, guys.
Did you collect your rainwater today, Steph?
It's been so dry. We haven't had a drop.
I know. He was found dead on the side of the road. He had been shot in the head, execution style.
Oh.
Police said drugs were involved. George had been shot a total of 4 times, but he still had several $100s on him and some checks. Which back in the day, check was easy.
Oh, check was basically
you could go to the frickin' IGA.
Anywhere.
Just sign away. Boom.
As a child, you could take a check as a child and then like, this must be from your mommy.
With a cigarette. No.
Yeah.
Mommy
Mommy also wants a pack of Marlboros.
Do you remember Brassfields? Did you live by
No.
there? So Brassfields was right across the street from, 12th and Dewey.
Okay.
They had Burger King, Brassfields, and then like the Keystone Pizza.
I remember the Keystone.
So it was like gas station. That was the local gas station for me. So my mama sent me down there with the
Yeah. Mom gave me the note. All right, sweetie.
I could get some Lucerne cough drops and a pack of cigarettes, please.
It was a normal thing.
Yeah, it was. It was. So yeah, George hadn't been robbed. That's what the
Which is interesting with a few hundred in the 80s.
Right.
Or this is 70s, I think.
77.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good money.
Yeah. This is so sad though. George's brother saw him lying in the road on his way to work, surrounded by police.
No.
Can you believe that?
And he saw it was him?
Yeah. So Rodgers and his younger brother were charged in the crime. But Rodgers said he did it. He killed George and pled guilty to second-degree murder. Some think he did it to save his younger brother from going to prison. I think he served, I can't remember if I say this later. I think he served 5 years.
That is so ridiculous. And we don't know all the details of this case, but shooting someone execution style does not indicate self-defense.
No, it was
Four shots
fucking drugs.
And purposeful. This isn't like I was running and fighting and I had to. 5 years.
I think that's where we ended up. Yeah.
Some people get 3 years for second degree murder. Yeah. And then they get out on good behavior after 1. I just cannot believe that this shit happens. And second degree murder pisses me off on the most part. So much more than a lot of like the death row cases and stuff, because you see when people come back or do terrible things, or just even if they don't do anything terrible, how terrible for the brother that had to see him on the road on his way to work and think someone got to spend 3 years of their life in jail. 3 years goes by fast, especially once you hit your 30s and everything. That goes by very fast.
It's like I'm going to get an education and I'm going to get out.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe participate.
Make me some bros.
Yeah. Learn how to do crimes better. Because, well, listen, they're not rehabilitating these people. You're making connections with other criminals that you can coordinate with.
How do you think he got 13 fucking pounds of marijuana in Idaho?
Yeah, probably his homie he met in fucking jail. Oh, this pisses me off so bad.
So, if I'm wrong on the 5 year, but it was a short time. I think it was 5 years. I can't believe I didn't write that down.
Anything less than like 15 years.
No,
it was a complete slap in the
this
face.
is only 10 years later that this is all happening.
Yeah, what the hell?
It's like, I gotta get out of Vallejo, man.
Let's go to Boise. Can't get in any trouble there.
Be big time kingpin. I also discovered that after being a convicted murderer, Rodgers and his wife were foster parents for 3 teenage boys over a 15-month period until January 9th, 1987. And people are pissed when they find out about this.
I don't see how anyone couldn't be pissed. Like, what else? What's the line? Do you have to be convicted of sexually abusing not just 1, but maybe 5 kids or more?
Let me tell you.
Oh my God, Dani, I'm going to shake my microphone again.
So this is in the news everywhere, right? People are pissed. State officials blame the FBI for not finding Rodgers' prison record when he applied for a foster care license in October of 1985. And I thought it was a little weird, let me tell you, because he was 37-ish, right, when all this was going down. And I thought, why is he having teenage boys? But I forget. Back in the day, we were having kids at 20, right? So he had a teenage son at the time.
Okay.
So it didn't make sense as far as he wasn't being like creepy, like, ooh, teenage. I did not get that vibe at all, because I was like, why the fuck are you having boys in your house? He had a teenage son. So
But they can't look at other records and states?
There was no complaints from the boys about their state. Yeah, they probably got as much weed as they want. Yo, my foster dad.
You want to buy some? They're probably selling it, making their own business at school. They got a great hookup. They are being entrepreneurs.
So, yeah.
Well, and let's be clear. If people are involved in this, and maybe if you guys want to disagree with me, let me know. But if you are involved in like the drug dealing life and the criminal life, and you're trying to get foster kids, I find it incredibly hard to believe that you want to foster children. I find it very easy to believe that this is a guaranteed check that you can get every month, and you can choose to do it how you want. So you can choose how much you want to spend on food and whatever else. It's a business opportunity where you can turn it into profit, and it's a guaranteed check every month. That's my opinion.
And they can sell joints to their buddies at school.
It's a burgeoning enterprise of amazingness. We're taking over Boise.
Here's your try money. I'm going to give you 2 joints.
I'm going to need at least 5 new customers this week.
Allowance. That was the big word I was looking for. Jesus. Here's your allowance. I'm going to give you 2 joints. It's your choice whether you want to smoke them or
sell them.
Sell them to your buddy, and you can go down and buy some new shoes.
Yeah, you want some business acumen? I'll tell you how to be a drug dealer.
Yeah. And if you do good, if you want to buy more from me, if you decide to, then I'll give you 4 joints for your allowance. And then you could choose to smoke one.
No fronts.
No.
Never front to a preteen. Everyone knows that. I'm just kidding, but I'm just like imagining this fucking conversation.
Woo! We get off. Okay, here we go. A health and welfare employee visited the home 3 times in that 15 months and did not find anything unusual. What? They didn't have the marijuana on the fucking coffee table in the front room?
There wasn't a concerning amount of blood to the point where you're like, someone definitely died here. So they were like, yeah, all good.
They were probably scheduled. They were probably like, boys, you cannot smoke pot in the house today.
You have to go outside in the backyard.
But keep a mindful eye for a state vehicle pulling up. You put that shit out, go brush your teeth, go sit in your room like good little boys.
Put on your polo.
Yes.
Tell them about your academic studies.
Yes. If they had axe back then, axe it up.
Well, and it was a different time.
It was.
So unless a kid was looking beat to hell and starved visibly.
Yeah, and Catherine probably kept a tidy house.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. You cannot be running a drug house.
You have visitors unexpectedly all the time.
Yeah. Got to keep it mindful.
Good Lord.
So the application to become a foster parent.
Do you have a heartbeat?
Pretty much. It requires 3 personal references. Yo, I know. Remember last week I sold you that pound of weed? Listen, I'm going to have... So don't freak out, but the state's going to call you. And you don't need to worry. They're not going to come by. You just need to tell them that I'm an awesome dad.
Very involved.
And that our house is clean. And that you vouch for me.
I'm gonna throw in a free joint on your next purchase.
Yeah, let's go.
And maybe, you know what? Free delivery as well. You don't even have to come.
I'll even swing by. I'll even swing by
to you.
So the 3 personal references, a health history, because God forbid, anyway, an employment background. You got a job, motherfucker? He probably didn't. Anyway, his social security number and a birth date.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all you need to be.
McDonald's requires more.
But it also asks 3 specific questions. And this is where he did not lie. They didn't lie. The questions are, if they had ever been convicted of a crime that involves children, whether they have been involved in marriage counseling or treatment of child abuse. Look, the marriage counseling is a super big red flag, not murder. We don't need to ask about murder.
Yeah, God forbid you went to counseling for your marriage.
Okay, so the marriage counseling, treatment of child abuse, alcoholism, or other problems. Do you have any other?
Do you have problems?
Other problems?
You're approved.
The application is then forwarded to the state attorney general, then to the Idaho Department of Law Enforcement to determine if they have any criminal record with the state.
With this state.
Correct. But then they forward it on to the NCIC, which is the FBI's National Crime Information Center.
Which that makes me feel like, okay, at least someone, FBI had so much more reach.
And so that department is responsible for alerting state officials if an applicant has a record in other states.
They're the body that's able to do that because their technology could not do that at the time.
Nothing.
FBI, I am so fucking... And it just goes to show... I mean, kids still slip through the cracks nowadays, even with the advancements of technology and everything. But especially back then, people didn't even think of kids as people. Like,
oh, no,
they did not give a fuck.
It was a thing.
Like, unless I see you abusing a child in front of me, yeah, we're going to give you 15 foster kids. Just don't ever be abusing a child in front of my eyeballs. And if you're going to do that, let me know that so I can turn away.
But I will say one good thing that came about because of all this, and there was public outrage.
Outcry, yeah.
This news causes the Idaho Health and Welfare Department to beef up their background checks.
Beef it up.
By requiring fingerprints going forward to anyone who contracts with the department to care for kids in state custody.
It's progress. And especially back then, that's a big step.
People were pissed.
God, unbelievable.
You have a convicted murderer taking care of children. What the fuck?
And I know that they're not an upstanding... Like, I could understand if maybe you could explain that away. And now you are a youth group leader, or you're literally a kids softball coach, or you've proven all these things. You're into charities and you're doing all these things. And so you're like, you can prove it. These people were not doing that shit.
They had 13 pounds of marijuana. Okay. Sheriff Von Colleen admitted the dispatcher committed an out-and-out blunder, he said. A blunder? A fucking blunder?
So, like, we're not in the 50s. We had a little bit of a blunder.
He said, we screwed up. He did. He said, we screwed up.
I mean, good that you're admitting it and not trying to, because I hear that way too often where they try to explain it away. And
he does a little explaining. Okay. He said, dispatchers were under a lot of pressure that morning.
Sure.
A large fire in the Boise foothills was being fought, and the 9 dispatchers working were trying to coordinate firefighters, police, and paramedics.
Okay. Still, now we see the consequences. It could have been a crime that it was just an argument that neighbors were freaking out about and nothing happened. But it wasn't this time, unfortunately.
2 dispatchers are later suspended without pay for their failure to dispatch Boise police.
And that's more than I said for a lot of shit.
One was suspended for 30 hours. The other one for 40. It was probably a week. They probably had they got suspended for a week. Not idea. I mean,
and it could have been. You can't place all of the onus on them.
No.
Like,
where was your supervisor? So, yeah. So, at least he said, yeah, we fucked it up. It was an out-and-out blunder. Yeah. In October, Rodgers and Cox's public defenders asked for 4th District Judge Robert Newhouse to be disqualified from the case.
oh,
And it's granted. We've had Newhouse.
what was the reason?
Ada County Prosecutor Greg Bowers said, quote, Newhouse has shown an inclination to use the death penalty, and I think they want somebody with a little less steel in their back.
This was the time.
This was it. Like, death penalty, death penalty, death penalty.
And to be in that time so notorious for it, when everyone was kind of doing it, it was kind of the thing. You were doing it too much.
But yeah,
let your foot off the gas a little bit.
Let me give you some
shoplifting death penalty.
The new judge assigned is 4th District Judge George Carey.
Hey, Georgie.
Finally, in late October, I don't even know how this fucking works. Rodgers and Cox enter their not guilty plea. Trial is set for February next year. Attorneys Emil Mishin and John Adams have asked for the trials to be split, and they're Rodgers attorneys. Judge Carey agrees to separate the cases, but the request for a change of venue is denied. Ralph Keene, seen him before, Cox's attorney, asked the judge just to dismiss the charges against him for insufficient.
You got to try it. It's your job as You never know. Sometimes it happens.
March 7th, 1988, Rodgers' trial begins. And the first thing that happens, not exactly the first thing, but very close to the first thing, defense attorney Meechan asked for mistrial. Because during opening statements, Ada County prosecutor told the jurors that Rodgers was already in police custody on other charges when he was arrested for the murder of Preston.
Whoopsie. Get our dates mixed up or something?
Meechan said that it had already been agreed in pretrial motions that other pending charges would not be brought up during the trial. He said Bauer clearly violated the court's ruling and forever tainted the jury panel. And Judge Carey said, suck it.
Anyway,
I mean, way to fight for your client. Let's move forward.
It helps not have a mistrial. So I know some people get really pissed when people are like, why would you say to dismiss it? Look at all this evidence. It's their job.
Yeah.
And them checking that box and proving that they're pulling every tool they might have helps not have a mistrial. Or like a appeal where it's like, they could have done this and they never did. So now we'll never know. So yes, defense, pull all of your special tricks.
So Prosecutor Bauer told the judge he only made reference to Rodgers' arrest because he planned to point out that Rodgers would have had to have disposed of Preston's body before 3 p.m. on June 30th when he was arrested on other charges.
Okay, so he had a reason.
And Judge Carey's like,
he said, Judge, I did my homework. I think you'll agree with me on this.
So I'm going to give you a lot of tidbits of testimony.
I love a good tidbit.
Not in super detail, but just like this is happening.
Well, because we know how testimony goes. Sometimes the questioning is so basic for like 15 minutes. Who are you? How do you apply to this case?
I'm just going to break it down to the good juicy parts.
Give us the juicies.
Neighbors of Rodgers testified they heard a disturbance outside on June 29th, 87. Clinton Sparks, remember, he was the guy that called 911 originally. He testified that he heard a thud on his door and heard someone scream. He later discovered blood on his door.
He tried to go to his house.
Another neighbor testified they heard a man yell, "Let me go." I'm sorry. Let go of me. I don't want to be misquoting anybody.
Sure.
So this is what is happening. They're attacking this poor man, and he is running for his life.
And trying desperately.
And banging on neighbors' doors. Do you remember at the beginning of the story when I said they found blood on a door and the back window of another house? He was hitting up multiple neighbors.
He was getting anywhere he could. And just imagine something waking you up out of your sleep and you hear a violent fight and screaming, and you don't know who's who.
I'm not opening.
Who's the aggressor.
I like to think I would not be opening the door.
And listen, for me, as a woman, if it had been a woman, I would have been more apt to do it. But hearing men, you don't know what the hell they've been up to out there. You don't know who's the aggressor, who originally started it. And especially if you're alone.
Or if you're inside with your wife and your family.
Children.
Not opening the door.
Yeah.
You're calling the police and hoping that the fucking dispatchers send somebody out. Thank you.
True. No blunders, please. What an unfortunate stroke of fate that it was the same night as these fires, and what would have happened differently if the fire wasn't there. That's so crazy to think of.
Officer Mike Majors testified he found an axe buried in a garden area next to the Rodgers home. It had blood on the handle and on the axe.
A fucking axe, and you buried it in your own garden on your own property when you had 12 hours
and 13 pounds of marijuana in the front room. So it was actually found in the basement, but I like to think of it sitting on it might as well have been sitting.
Yeah. If there's a trail of blood all over and on the basement door, they're going to go in the basement. Hello.
Ada County Coroner Dan Chrisman testified about the numerous bloodstains found around the home. This was a bloodbath.
when you have first responders saying this is the worst thing that I have ever seen, they have seen some shit, accidental and on purpose. They have seen some wild shit. And just to compare, you guys have heard us talk about Kim Fest and why that is. And I will tell you that the first responders to Kim's scene, they described it the same way. You can look it up online, Kimberly Larson. But these first responders have also stuck with the family. They have come to community events. They are forever bonded. They did everything that they could. But these types of cases are so impactful, even for those people that this is their job, they're used to it. For them to say something like this is huge.
Carl Kitchen told the jury about how he discovered body parts on the Snake River while on that 4th of July fishing trip with his family. He said, quote, "As I got closer to the reservoir, I saw a strange object. I saw it had to be a piece of human body from above the navel just below the leg joints."
For it to be so unrecognizable. I mean, can you really imagine?
How would you, like...
Well, in the human brain, I mean,
Right.
when you see something like this, you're like, that's got to be fake. That's like what causes bystander, where you're like, this isn't really happening. You know, what is that? In a way.
I remember that case where the guy was out deer hunting and he saw that round object and he just was
Surely
like,
that's not a skull of a human.
right? And it was.
And then it's unmistakable.
You're like, oh, no, that's what I'm really seeing. Washington County Sheriff Jim Johnston said police recovered other body parts, including hands, a thigh, fingers, a forearm, and the remainder of the torso and the head.
And can you imagine being on that job? Do you like, hey, we're looking for body parts today? Not a great day on the job at all. So thank you to those that do it. And I am so impressed and just thankful that they found this much, because without it, could you imagine doing this case without a body? He was bloody and he just ran away and decided to disappear. He thought someone was trying to kill him.
Nobody was getting convicted of anything. Because remember, they were arrested for all of the drugs on the 30th. They figured somebody had probably died there. They had nothing.
Without a body, it complicates everything. Because you could be like, yeah, they got in a fight and he decided to go to Canada because he knew someone was going to kill him. Yeah. He'll disappear forever. So without a body, it would be so hard. So thank you to those folks that had a really terrible day on the job of doing a scavenger hunt for body parts. How terrible is that?
Boise Detective Dave Smith testified that Cox, remember Buddy Cox, led police to a dumpster in Meridian where they found garbage bags, shoes, socks, and a pair of gloves that were saturated with a red-like substance.
Wonder what that was.
I'm just telling you, if this was nowadays, it would have all been DNA tested and all that. But this is 87, so they're just going to assume it was blood. Okay. I mean, the guy who is charged with
being an accomplice,
aiding and abetting is showing you, oh, let me just show you this dumpster.
So that just proves what he's saying. If you know where all the goods are hidden.
Todd Clough, a friend of Rodgers, testified Rodgers told him some coke had been ripped off from his house and some money.
I knew there was more than just weed. I knew it.
About $1,000 worth.
And that's a lot.
It is. I mean, 87. Todd said Rodgers said he was sick of getting ripped off and that he had a way of finding out who had done it and that they'd be sorry. So he has problems. This guy is...
I knew there had to be a stimulant involved.
Yeah.
Drugs.
A convenience store clerk testified that she saw a tall, slender black man and a white man enter her store around 9 a.m. on June 30th in Weiser. They grabbed a cup of coffee and left. I'm like, I'm going to bring this up. 87, a black man, very
This is just the truth, you guys.
And it's not
even
just
now, even in 2025.
Our population of African American black people here in Idaho is very low. in 87.
It was next to nothing, I'm
So
sure.
she was going to remember seeing. So it's not like, oh, yeah, I saw these guys come in. Like, it was the only reason I'm bringing this up is because it'd be different, is what I'm trying to say.
It was very credible. Yeah, that was all just to explain that this was probably very credible testimony.
An acquaintance of Rodgers, Barbara Fleming, testified Rodgers came to her house on the 30th, a little bit before noon, and said police were surrounding his house. Oh, he said, hey, you mind going over there and see what's going on?
That's all you can. There's no cell phone, so this is the first smarter thing that I've heard of, like, especially if you knew that you killed somebody, though. I mean, this is like the bare minimum.
Like, shit, the pot.
Can you do a quick drive-by, see if they're pulling any bags of marijuana out of there?
Did they find a blood?
Say you're a concerned neighbor or something.
Did they find the axe? Do you see him in the garden on the side?
God, are they in the garden?
Rodgers had told police that he had spent the night at his parents' house along with his wife and kids.
As you do. It was movie night with the Gramps.
Another Boise police officer testified that fingerprints on a .357 Magnum belonged to Rodgers. Rodgers had purchased that gun in the summer of '86. Human blood and hair was found on the gun and in the gun.
Oh, that's bad. That's close range. That's gnarly.
The blood type was O. I just want to remind listeners, this is '87. The blood type was O, which matched both Rodgers and Preston.
Wow, and that's like the rarest.
Is it?
Type O, I think, is the rarest.
I don't know anything.
They can give to everyone, but can only receive type O, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
But the biggest thing that this officer said is that when Rodgers was arrested, he had no injuries. So he said, yeah, there was blood. Yeah, it matched, but he was fine.
Can I just say, knowing that the victim was unarmed and was trying to get away and doing all of these things, and this motherfucker had a gun that he had discharged several times and probably shot the guy. Was it proven that he shot the guy?
Yeah.
If there was blood and hair, and you also had an axe and there's blood everywhere for an unarmed person, and it still took whatever for you to kill this unarmed person. You've got a gun and an axe. How much cocaine were you on?
Drugs.
Terrible shot, terrible axe swing. Like, how were you so bad at this?
Testimony was presented about the cuts to Preston's body. Dr. Frank Roberts described the cuts as straight, not jagged, and they didn't bleed much. This indicated they were inflicted after Preston was dead.
Yeah.
He said only the head wound and the arm wound were inflicted before death. Dr. Roberts also said the body parts had been in the water for 4 to 5 days before being discovered. I'm just saying, if this happened nowadays, he would have. There would be no trial. Like, they would have had him dead.
They did so shitty at this. Both the act and the covering up were the literal worst efforts I've seen in a long time.
A criminologist testified that the bullet found in the skull of Preston was from a .357 Magnum revolver that was found in Rodgers' home. Like,
I cannot believe that they even went to trial at this point, dude.
So I just want to tell you something. I didn't write this down in here, but neighbors literally saw a man hosing blood off of a car in the porch that morning.
Hiller.
Didn't pick up the pot and get it out of the house? What? Anyway.
And they had so much. Luckily, that officer was not dispatched. You have so much time.
If that officer had been dispatched, I think Preston would have been alive.
Possibly. I mean,
they were
motherfucker fought.
They were torturing this poor man by
probably trying to be like, you stole my cocaine. Where is it?
I think that they shot him I think they beat him up. I think they shot him in the arm. That's where a lot of the blood came from. I think he was running, trying
to escape. And he did. He was running to multiple houses. There's 2 of them.
In the fucking just.
It is so tragic that this person literally did everything that they could have.
So let's bring on the defense.
I'm so interested.
Rodgers takes the stand. I'm going to tell you his story. Here's Rodgers' story.
Let's hear it.
He testified, quote, "I can't stand the sight of blood. I felt like I was going to throw up." You're a fucking fat mouth. Rodgers said he did not kill Preston, but that Cox did. Rodgers said that Cox told him, quote, "I'm going to cut him up in pieces and feed him to the fish." He said that he met Preston that day because Preston had information about guns that were stolen from Rodgers' father's house.
Met him just that day. Okay.
No, that he just met him. The reason that they were hanging out. The group went to 2 different places to find the guns, but then they were unable to find anyone who knew where the guns were. So the 3 went back to Rodgers' house. Rodgers said, quote, "Cox said, Pete's lying to you. Who's got your guns?" I'm going to be doing some quotes in here, by the way, that is going to be very hard for me because they're not fluent. So just be patient with me. Cox and Preston went to the basement to smoke some pot while wholesome Roger, made some coffee upstairs.
What a great host.
He heard them because the cocaine is not enough, right? I need a little extra something.
We love a trap house owner with some hospitality. Doing it right.
He heard them arguing downstairs.
Oh, dear.
He went to the foot of the stairs and saw Preston turn on Cox with a knife. Cox then picked up another knife that was in the basement and started swinging at each other.
This is like Mortal Kombat right before your eyes.
Quote, "I was yelling at them to stop. They weren't paying me a bit of attention.
Oh, dear.
At this point, they were fighting and cussing each other."
What's a boy to do?
Then Preston turned on Rodgers and threatened to kill him.
No.
Rodgers fired a warning shot.
As you do if someone is in your who doesn't? It's like a desk pop on that one movie. Just put out a desk pop. Someone gets too unruly in your house at a party.
Pop. Desk pop.
Yeah.
Preston knocked Rodgers down and the gun fell out of his hand.
Oh, no.
Quote, "Preston ran up the stairs. Cox grabbed the pistol and he fired up the stairs at Pete, and then he ran after Pete." Preston. They called Pete Preston.
Sure.
Then he said Cox chased Preston out into the street and brought him back into the house.
If someone is such a threat, why are you dragging them back in the house? You're worried for your life.
Rodgers saw that Preston was injured and told him that he would call an ambulance. But the fight continued between Preston and Cox. Cox drug Preston downstairs. Quote, "Next thing I do is I tried to go and stop them. When I got to the kitchen part of the house, I heard the gun go off. I froze. I hear footprints. There stood Cox. He was about 2 steps from the top. He said, 'Don't worry about him. He won't bother anyone anymore.' I killed him."
What is this, a telenovela? Like,
I want to know how you hear footprints, frankly.
I heard the footprints. Wow. I noticed that as well.
I heard the footprints.
Wow, man. Very impressive. This whole story is just, he's had months, and it's a crack-headed concoction still.
He's had months.
He could have had 6 years
to come up with a good story. And he heard footprints.
Well, and just the whole, like, he was trying to kill us, and then he ran out of the house.
And we were
so scared of him trying to kill us, and so we brought him back in the house. You fucking dipshits.
After 50 witnesses, the case is handed over to the jury. So I fed you some smidgens of testimony, but there was like literally
Just
50.
the good little morsels.
Yeah, like, no, we got you. Oh, we got you here. We got you there. The jury deliberates for 6 hours before coming back with a guilty verdict of first-degree murder.
They reviewed it thoroughly, in my opinion.
I bet you hearing footprints weighed heavily on their decision.
Cheers, sis. I'm glad you covered this.
In a plea agreement, Cox pled guilty to accessory to a felony and aggravated assault, and the first-degree murder charges are dropped. Cox had agreed to testify against Rodgers, but was not called by the prosecution during the trial.
See, and that's what I've been wondering this whole time, because it sounded like from Rodgers' testimony that he was trying. I'm like, if you're saying all this now, why didn't you do a plea agreement to be like, I will set it all up for you?
Cox already had it. He showed him where the shit was. He's like, I'm not going down for this crazy motherfucker.
Too late on the jump.
Did it. So let me just tell you what Cox said. And the reason he wasn't called, I'm telling you, because they had it in the bag. They didn't need to dirty anything or bring him in so the defense could
pick it apart.
Team can be like, well, did you do that?
Did you
hit him? Did you hit him?
He's an unreliable witness.
Right.
It's one step above a prison
so much
snitch.
shit. Like, they didn't need him. They didn't need his testimony. Cox's attorney, Rolf Keene, gave Cox's side of the story. The three men did drive around looking for the missing guns. When they were unable to locate them, this had to have been a drunken,
crack-headed mission.
Yeah.
It was I knew that there was a stimulant involved, because people don't just do this on marijuana.
No,
they don't.
Hand me the Cheetos, bro.
Yeah, let's get some Cheetos. Let's watch a fucking funny movie. No one is doing this shit smoking a bowl.
When they were unable to locate them, they went back to Rodgers' home. Cox didn't realize anything was wrong until Rodgers took him aside upstairs and said, quote, he can't leave here alive. Cox tried to persuade Rodgers to let Preston go, but Rodgers said, you're either with me or you're against me. This sounds totally like a movie. But
I can see something of this sort happening when people get all up on these stimulants.
You're like, slow down, dude.
They think they're Scarface. They're like, I gotta act like the big man. I gotta be the Scarface.
And I think Cox is like, slow your roll.
We're not in the movie Scarface.
Right.
We're in Boise, Idaho.
Let's go smoke some pot and chill. Yeah. When asked about disposing of the body, Cox said it was more or less for his own safety. Rodgers had threatened Cox, saying, I know where you'll be if you try to make a break. I know where your family is.
Well, and you're already somewhat implicated by being there, whether how much he was in it or not. If you're
gonna be like, I'm out.
Yeah, you're.
That's a hard break to make.
You are too far deep. If all of this is even if the whole time you were like, bro, stop, and trying to like be in a corner or trying to de-escalate.
Just like,
when someone dies and you've been there the whole time and you're on drugs.
I forgot that thing. I gotta go pick up my mama's prescription.
My dog does have a pedicure scheduled 7 a.m. sharp. And we cannot miss another appointment or this stylist is gonna kill me.
You're not doing that.
No.
They're just like, oh fuck, I'm in this now.
Yes.
Cox is sentenced to 5 years for the accessory charge and 2 years for the assault. The sentences will run concurrent. With time served, Cox will be eligible for parole in 120 days. On August 15th, Rodgers tried to commit suicide while awaiting sentencing. He lost 2 pints of blood after he slit his wrists.
A serious attempt here.
Yeah, it was a serious attempt. But the cops were like, well, probably shouldn't have done that. So here's your new cell with 24-hour surveillance video. Thank you.
Yeah. Now you get nothing. No shoelaces, no anything.
Yeah. The beard is going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. During Rodgers' sentencing hearing, Prosecutor Bauer asked for the death penalty, stating that he had killed before.
I mean, a very important thing.
Mitigating circumstance. Yeah. Rodgers told the judge, quote, I feel very sorry for Pete's family, that they had to go through an ordeal like this. even today, when I look at things, I don't see any way I could have stopped Darren Cox. I'm as much of a victim in this case as Pete Murr. Almost.
See, now why'd you have to open your mouth and continue that sentence? Like, I'm as much of a victim. How are you as much of a victim? Listen to the words coming out of your mouth. I am as much of a victim. How? You're here breathing.
Don't know. Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Almost. Why? Because you're breathing? Look, you're already a convicted murderer. Mm-hmm. You weren't scared. Because you got a measly 5 fucking years.
Yeah.
For murdering somebody. I don't even know how that's possible.
He said, not this time.
Judge Carey said, the defendant is a dangerous person and he should never be allowed to go free. But Judge Carey did spare Rodgers' life while venting about Idaho's protracted, cumbersome death penalty appeals process, which we know very well. Appeals.
He was having some foresight and seeing how it was going already with these people handing out death penalties like they're fucking Oprah.
Yep.
So he's like, we got to kind of tamp down the numbers on those death penalties. I think I'm just going to go with life.
Let's do it. Rodgers is sentenced to a fixed life term without the possibility of parole. And you remember the original charges for Rodgers while he was in jail then he was charged with Preston's murder. He was sentenced for an additional 6 more years. Just a little cherry on top.
There you go. Just to top it all off.
And his wife, Catherine, was sentenced to 120 days in jail for those drug charges. And we all know why. Because she's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
System doesn't treat... I mean, she didn't kill anybody or anything, but he got 6 years for the same charges that she got 120 days for. So,
and
for their 13 packages of pot.
Gosh. Well, and I'm just surprised because, I mean, it doesn't say much about it, but wouldn't she have been a party to, like, disposing of the body? And, I mean, she was there, wasn't she? So she was probably much more involved.
That was unclear to me.
Yeah, I'm sure that she was an accessory in some way. They came back to the house together, right?
Right.
She was an accessory in some way. So very lucky for you, ma'am.
Cox is released on October 7th after serving 16 months in prison.
Alrighty then.
He made a deal.
Yep.
And I did do a little research to see if he's never in the Idaho Department of Corrections records again. I couldn't find anything on the court system. I bet he's like, I'm fucking out of here.
What's his first name again?
Darren. Wait, no, it's
Darren or Daryl?
It's Darren, but it's spelt funny. It's Daron.
Still, Cox is a very popular last name too. So,
but I feel like I did. If anybody knows anything, but I think it's like, this is not for me. I'm out. Idaho is not for me.
Maybe the cocaine's not for you either.
Maybe.
Just saying. Just saying.
So, in 2025, Rodgers is 75 years old and in custody of the Idaho State Correctional Center in Boise.
And that does it, folks. I mean, and from what we've heard, there's been a lot of publicity about it because of Kohberger, but apparently it's one of the worst prisons.
Yeah, I think that I'm going to do a little mini-sode on that. I want to do a little research on that.
Yeah, comparatively, because, I mean,
it's not like, from just some of the reading I've done, it's not the worst prison as far as, like, violence, like inmate-to-inmate violence. But they are just hardcore.
Restrictive.
Very restrictive. This is not the Grizzlies going to jail.
No.
No, it's very, very, very strict. I do, on the TikToks, I've been seeing people post like, let me put money on the books for these people.
The people harassing Kohberger. I've seen that too.
Yep.
Which, I mean, we're not praising them by any means because they're in there for a reason too. But I think if you paid attention to the Koberger case, he seems like he thinks he's he's smarter than everyone and better than everyone. So I do love that he's getting
You're not
warm
special.
welcome.
You're not special. You're just a murderer.
Yeah,
So.
he's getting to hang out with the types of people that he wanted to be. So
Yeah.
these are your new friends now, friends for life, automatic friends for life,
Forever.
your neighbors.
Ever. BFFs.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it.
I'm not mad about it
about
either.
a little hazing and harassment.
No, and our laws here are so strict about drug use. There's probably some king pig drug dealer in there, and it's like, yeah, I'm here for like 30, 40 years, and so let's
Got nothing to lose.
no. And I'm not a horrible person. I sold some pot.
Yeah.
We have people in jail here for serious time over the marijuana. It's fucking lame.
It is so stupid.
So anyways, he's going to be a miserable son of a bitch and very lonely, and because he can't be put in gen pop. Anyway, I don't know how we got on that, but anyway, fuck yourself. Yeah. Fuck yourself.
Yeah, Rodgers. I just wonder how it is getting a new person in. Like, who are Rodgers' friends? Like, do they have a little clique or?
I'm thinking at 75, he probably is respected. He's
He's an old man.
he's obviously done his time, but he also knows the rules. I hardly doubt he's in there causing a ruckus. He's just like, hey, it's probably chill, playing
He's
some
just
cards.
checking the box every day.
Yep. Fun fact on this house, Idaho History did a tour because we're coming on spooky season. So I don't know if they're doing it again this year. Idaho History is great.
We love them.
But they did a tour of the house last year around the spooky time, and his on their TikTok that they said that they had some case related stuff in the house, and it's kind of beaten up. How it looks spooky. So
Yeah, Dani and I want to do one of the tours, and they do all kinds of different tours that you can go downtown Boise and learn about like the brothels and everything. I would love to do one of those.
Yeah.
Like a drinking and walking tour is
Yeah.
one of them. But they have the coolest Idaho history. So if you're in Idaho or just interested in this area, follow them on TikTok. They've always got cool stuff.
Yep, absolutely, and they have a good Facebook page too. It's all there. They're probably on YouTube too.
Yeah. They probably do all the things.
I'm just staying to the TikTok. So,
But this was an interesting case. I know that people have done it before. Dani is exclusively with newspapers and case files that we can get our hands on. So let us know what you think. I liked it. I thought it was a good perspective, and hearing some of these things, it seemed fresh to me. So let us know what you guys think.
alrighty, guys.
Well, 10-4 rubber ducky.
Fuck yeah.